Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is the Christmas sloth. Sloths are one of my favorite just because they're so cute and lazy. They like to sleep and do nothing and move slowly. I like that. I like that they're celebrated for that. And we don't get celebrated for that when we want to rest as humans. For this picture, we want our paper turned wider than it is tall, so landscape. And we are going to start with our little sloth face. So somewhere on this left side of the page, just above center, top to bottom, we're going to add a little oval. And my oval is at an angle. It's not going to be perfectly straight because I want him to kind of be tilting his head. Around that oval, we're going to add his fur. It connects right to the bottom edge here of his oval of his face. And his arm will end up being underneath that. So that's kind of like all one line there. And you can do just a slight connection here. When we do our hat, we may adjust that just a little bit, but just have a basic shape there. We can draw our hat over that and erase any of the line that we don't like. It's really just a placeholder. So then we'll create that brim of the hat. Choose exactly how you want it. You can do a stocking cap. You could just do a straight up triangle. Any way you like it. And then I'm going to erase that top of the line so that the hat is on his head. Because when we're wearing a hat, we don't see the top of our head, right? We just see the hat. Do a line up. Kind of creating that triangle. And then I'll come down to create the point. Feels a little too witchy. I'm going to make it go a little longer so it's more elf-like or Santa-ish. There we go. And then you can add whatever style of pom-pom you want. I usually do this kind of cloud-looking one where I do tiny little smiley face or rainbows around it to create like a circle-ish pom-pom. Then we want to add the details into our sloth's face. They have these little mask areas that are really dark brown around their eyes. So step one is to create like a sideways letter U from each side of that original oval to create his eye masks. Inside of that, we'll add the eyeballs. Those are oval in shape. And we want to make sure we leave a pretty decent portion of that oval white. So on each side, because we're going to color this U shape in really dark, we want to make sure that we have some white so that the eyes don't get lost in that darkness. So I just add a little curve in there, leaving a lot of it white, and then a little tiny circle for the eyeball itself. Then we're going to add his little nose and mouth. And just do a tiny oval for his nose and a smile. You can add little details on there however you like. Next, we're going to add the curve of his back and then the beginning of his back leg. So about halfway down the side of his head here, we're going to do a big curve over. And that's just a curve for his back. So it's almost like a parenthesis shape. It's not quite as up as a rainbow, but it's just a slight curve. Then we're going to do another curve, but instead of going from the end of this, we're going to go kind of down and towards the front of his body again. Not drastically, but just a little bit. So it looks kind of like the top of a rocket ship almost. And then we'll curve up, create that back foot, and come up just a little ways. And I don't like quite how pointy that is, so I'm just going to erase that and curve that around more so I get more of a natural curve around his backside there. And this feels a little too high too. Erase a little bit of that leg. There we go. Then we're going to add the little front paw, which is underneath his face. So just past where that curve at the bottom edge here starts to curve upwards more, we're going to come out, add that little paw. Actually, I want it to curve up towards his face a little bit more. So it's like curved under him or her, just right under his little face there. So you're going to start along this edge, curve over and back until you get just past his other eye or head area. Then we'll connect those with the round smiley face curve for his belly. And you'll notice that this curve of his belly connects below the end of each line of his arm and his foot. And that's because we're still going to see the line that changes from his foot to his body, even though, you know, where he's reaching across his chest there. So that's why we make sure that that's still there. Next, we're going to add that branch that he's laying on. I like to make my branches kind of a V shape where there's splitting into two different branches there at the end. So I start along the front here, connecting somewhere near his paw. And then on the back side, wherever that would continue, but I want to angle this back one upwards just a little bit. Sorry about the cattail. He's decided to come say hello. This is Dave, my baby kitty, who thinks he needs to be having attention all the time. All the time. COVID kitty, that's what happens, I think. And then we also want to add the other side of the branch at the bottom here. We'll just go across. And once we get past the back leg, we'll curve downward to give us that Y shape. And then between these two, we're going to add a curvy letter V. So that shows now we've got two branches here from one branch on the tree. Now we also need to add some details to our sloth. So we're going to add some pointy little claws here to each of the paws. There are 2-toed and 3-toed sloths, so you can choose how many you want to add. And I like to add some leaves and other details to my branch. And those can go anywhere. I just add a few little leaves and then have them come downwards towards little branches coming off of the tree. You could even add a little ladybug in here if you wanted to. It doesn't matter quite how many you add. It just adds a little bit of green to your picture and some details. Now you can decorate it how you want. You could maybe add some cute Christmas lights to his hat. So I would take, I'm gonna use my pen just so you can see it a little better, and make like a little rectangle or square. Adding curved lines off of that to create like a little light bulb. And a little line for the highlight. And then I'll do a little curl. I'll add another one. You can just create this tangled pattern across his hat. It'll be very festive. So just add a few lights. They can kind of even be over the edge of the hat. Maybe they're really light up lights that are just twisted onto his hat. Or you could do stripes and polka dots. There's really no right or wrong. Just have fun with it and add some details in there so you get a cute little Christmas kind of theme. You could also step it up a notch in the Christmas department by taking some round shapes and adding some ornaments hanging down up here, like from above him. Maybe somebody like decorated the other tree. And I'll add like a little holder off the top. Just have them coming from the top there. They could be hanging from a different tree branch. And then you can decorate these with all different things. Maybe you want to add a star in one of them. Maybe you want to do polka dots. Or stripes. Or spirals. I mean, you can do any pattern on there that you want. And that added just a little bit more holiday cheer. Another idea is to add some snowflakes in the background, which I did with a white gel pen after I added that blue sky in there. But you could do it just throughout your picture too. I start with a plus sign, add little letter V's to the ends of each of my lines. And then I do a smaller letter X in the middle, putting a circle on the end. And you can add those all over your page in a variety of sizes and at different angles and create a really pretty snowy landscape for your sloth to be hanging out in. I can't wait to see how your Christmas sloth came out and what patterns and designs and details you added to it. Don't forget to post your finished project either in our student forum on Facebook, Studio CIA Student Projects, or on our website in our community forum, linked below. Be sure to come back for another drawing soon. Bye, everyone.